Hi guys, I am here on holidays in Nigeria. We finally made it. I've actually been here this is our 4th day. However, I've got a story time for you. I'm in the bathroom, it's going to be super echoey and there is a fan that I can't turn off, but it's the only place with good lighting. So hopefully I can fix that. We had 4 suitcases. One was to just leave here because it was full of like gifts and stuff. But we had 4 luggage in total and one went missing. And the one that went missing was all the kids' clothes, all of my shoes, all of my makeup, all of my skincare, and a bunch of gifts. So it was a bag that had a bunch of everything in it. Anyway, I'm gonna do my makeup for the first time in 5 days because it took us 2 days to travel. I've got so much to say. Anyway, I'm gonna put in this Super Good Glow screen. I've never actually used this before. It's a little travel and it's an SPF of 30 and it is so hot here. It reminds me of like far north Queensland. It's really humid. So it feels hotter than it actually is. So if it's 30 degrees, it feels 35. And that's kind of what we're dealing with. So we need sunscreen. And I'm gonna put on a powder foundation because that's where I'm at. So when I did my video of Pack With Me, I since altered a couple of things. And those couple of things were I put in a little face palette. I could not. It was killing me there, and you have one tiny mini bronzer. I know, it's ridiculous. But I'm gonna be using this today. Super basic makeup. We're not doing anything extravagant. And my Bare Minerals matte loose foundation in Golden Ivory 7 because I've still got a little bit of fake tan on. It's kind of faded, but it is there. So where do I even start? I don't even know where to start. So we're actually checking out today because we only got our luggage last night. My husband had a friend come meet us and go collect it. The issue was you had to call this guy, but he wasn't picking up his phone to double check if our luggage had arrived, but he wasn't picking up his phone. So we didn't know when our luggage was arriving. And anywhere in the world, it's hard to get to an airport. It's not that easy. Anyway, finally got in contact yesterday and it was there, and I swear I almost cried. I'm not a crier, but I almost cried because we had so much value in that one suitcase. But honestly, that was the least of our worries. The actual trip here was a literal nightmare. So we're on day 4 and I'm starting to get sick. My body just like shut down. It was so exhausting, the whole experience. We're totally fine now, so I'm just telling you the story. If we never found this suitcase, I probably would have never done this video because I would have been so annoyed and so upset. Anyway, so we didn't have any issues in our first flight. So we had, unfortunately, because of where we're going, we want to go back via Dubai, so we had to fly Emirates. And in order to go to Dubai and fly Emirates, there's no direct flight with Emirates to Lagos, Nigeria. So we had to get 3 planes to get here. So we went from Sydney to Dubai, which is like 15 hours. That was fine, no issues at all. And then we went from Dubai, stayed in Dubai for like 5-hour layover, which is a bit boring, but you know, you do it. Then we got from Dubai to Nairobi, Kenya, and that's when we had a lot of issues. So we get to Nairobi, and there's like no one at this airport. There was no staff. It was really weird. Yeah, that's good. It was hard to get help because we knew that we couldn't check in from Australia. They told us that we have to check in Nairobi for that last flight. They couldn't do it for us. We're like, okay, sure, we'll figure it out. So we get to Nairobi, and we have like a 4-hour layover, so we're not stressed about time. It's more, we don't know, we're in a foreign country, right? And we've got 2 kids that are just beyond annoyed and overflying at this stage. Because our Dubai flight to Nairobi was fine. I forgot to say that. Dubai to Nairobi was fine. It was when we got in Nairobi and needed to do our last flight to Lagos where everything kind of fell apart. So we finally found someone at a desk. There were all these desks, but no one was there. We finally found someone at a desk, wait in line, and all these people try and like push in. It was so hectic. Anyway, we got our turn, and he's like, yeah, your flight's been cancelled. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's been cancelled? We've been flying for 30 hours. You can't say that to us. And not only was it cancelled, it was going to be the next day. And it was like morning. We had come in at like 10:30 in the morning, I want to say. Or 11:30, I can't remember. But it was morning. And they were just so blasé and honestly rude about it. And we were like, no, we can't fly tomorrow. They didn't tell anyone it was cancelled. Like there was no notification. It was still scheduled on the board. And they're like, oh, you have to go upstairs and they'll organise a hotel for you. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you think, all right, that's not that bad. We go upstairs. Well, mind you, we couldn't figure out how to get upstairs because upstairs was a food court. There's just no one to help you. It was really weird. So we're walking around. And we finally find upstairs. And we're like, hey, we were told to come up here because we had our flight cancelled and we were told you were going to get us a hotel. Oh no, you have to get a visa first. Okay. You have to leave the airport to go to a hotel, so you need a visa for that? I'm like, okay. Well, can we organise to do that? Here, fill in this paperwork for every single, all 4 of us. And then you're gonna go back downstairs, down this way, and they'll organise a hotel for you. I'm like, oh, okay, so, no. And then you give this to immigration, and I was like, can you tell me where that is? Anyway, we do that, we go to immigration. They look at us up and down like, she literally threw the paper. It was like, take it to this man, which was like the visa line. Stand in line for the visas, and he's like, no. Like, what do you mean no? We have a flight tomorrow. We need a hotel. And he goes, you need to go back downstairs. And they need to figure it out. We're like, what? No one wants to do anything. So they're bouncing us from person to person. And mind you, this is all in lines. We're all every time they make us go to someone else, we're in a line. And so we go back to the person that gave us the papers. And by this stage, other people are coming in. Because we were there early because of our transfer flight, but other people are now coming in, finding out their flight is also cancelled with us. And people are starting to get aggravated. Because honestly, Kenyan Airlines was the worst, absolute worst. The lack of accommodating, the lack of concern, the lack of help, honestly, was really bad. We're in a country that we do not know, and we thought we were just transferring. Now, all of a sudden, we have to get a visa and leave the airport, and how do we do all of this? We need their help, right? This is what they do. You cancel a flight, you have to be prepared to help the people. And they were not prepared to help the people. So then we are sitting down for I want to say an hour. Mind you, this has already been 2 or 3 hours by the time we get to this point. And we have no food and no water, and it's hot in Kenya. and the kids are so agitated. I luckily always keep snacks from the plane. Like when they always give you little like cheese and crackers, bread roll, I always keep those and put them in my bag. So I did have snacks to give the children, and I kept some of the small water bottles. So I was so glad I did that, because I'm one of those people that always thinks of the future, and that really, really helped kind of keep the kids like energized in a way, I guess. I'm not doing anything crazy with my eyes. So then we have to go and wait, and we're sitting down and we're talking to some other people, because basically everyone that's going on this flight from Nairobi to Lagos is Nigerian. Pretty much everyone is Nigerian. And you see more and more people coming into this section getting angry as, you know, people come in, and we're just sitting there waiting, being like, we've been through this process. You're not going to get help. And they say, yeah, we're going to organize a hotel. We're going to organize a hotel. They haven't organized anything. Nothing's happening. And then finally they're like, okay, everyone needs to go in the visa line. We're like, we were just in that visa line and they told us to leave. So we go back in the visa line, and this line takes forever. Forever. Oh my God, it took forever. Because this is a whole plane of people whose flight has been cancelled. Anyway, so we finally get there, and he was so rude. He didn't believe that we came on an Emirates flight. We're like, what do you mean you don't believe us? That's what we came in on. It was really weird. Anyway, we got it was just a transit visa. So basically a transit visa is to leave the airport to go to a hotel and back, but you're not actually going into the country. You know, we don't go and do anything. So it's a basic visa. We didn't have to pay anything. There was nothing dodgy like that, but it just, the process, oh my God. So we're like, okay, right, next step. You got to go down to baggage claim, and there's a desk there, and they're going to organize a bus and a hotel. Okay. Well, that's another line. We stayed in lines for like 5 hours. And we'd been flying for, what are you at the airport for 4 hours, then 15 hours, so that's 19 hours, and then another 5 hours, that's 24 hours, and then another 30 hours. By the time we got to Nairobi, we had been flying and waiting for 30 hours. And we're on our last, oh God, it was just the most exhausting thing I've ever experienced in my life. And the kids were not happy, which is fair enough. But we were not. We were so stressed because we're like isolated right now. And the kids were just so irritated and bored because we didn't want them to do anything. They can't do anything. You can't run around. We don't know this country. And they're wanting, oh my God, it was insane. Anyway, so then we're in another line, and by this stage, everyone that was on that cancelled flight are trying to help each other, which was the saving grace. So there was this one guy who was at the front of the line who said, you know, used his common sense, rather than us doing individually, everyone give me your boarding pass. Because we had boarding passes, we didn't have to recheck in. We had our boarding pass for the next day. Give me your boarding pass and put us all on the list. So that was really good. And then we all get on this bus, and fine, you know, we're driving to the hotel. When I say fine, we're getting a hotel room, we get to have a shower. That was the main thing, have a shower and lie down. My ankles were so swollen by this stage. And so we get to this hotel. They are so frazzled by our arrival, so frazzled. Mind you, we're not the first bus, we're like the second bus. So there are people who are already in their hotel and chilling for the next day, right? So we're at the end of this line. We are the last people that they're dealing with, right? And there's no priority for people with families. Like all these single people are getting their hotel room, and we're waiting around hours, waiting. After hours, they're like, oh, you're not supposed to be at this hotel. You're supposed to be at a different hotel. When I tell you, I almost lost my shit. I was like, you're in a foreign country, keep it together. But I was beyond exhausted at this point. Beyond exhausted. I haven't put any concealer on. I'm thinking I might just do the tiniest bit. Do I have enough for concealer here? Just a tiny bit here. I was so annoyed. We were all really annoyed. What do you mean? You didn't figure this out when we got here? So then we had to wait for a bus, like a charter bus, to come and get us and take us to a hotel that other people are already at and have been at for a while. It is about 7 o'clock at this stage, 7 p.m. and we still have no answers and we're still stranded. And then this hotel is frazzled. Mind you, it's a nice hotel. This is not a dodgy hotel. It's quite nice. So that is the saving grace. And there's a restaurant there, which we built to the airport. Okay? Kenya's paying for that. So we get food. But by this time, I was so exhausted. I didn't even want to eat. The kids were crying, and then they fell asleep. And we couldn't wake them up because the exhaustion was so bad. We couldn't even wake them up. It was so bad. It was so bad. And I was trying so hard to stay awake. We had to wait for them to organize our hotel room. Hours for them to organize us a room. So I'm at breaking point right now. And I get up and I leave the restaurant and I go talk to reception. Very calmly, respectfully, not rude or anything. But I'm like, hey, our kids are asleep and we are not, and we need a room. Can you please figure this out for us as soon as possible? Oh, you've got kids? Yep. We have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. Oh, okay. So do you need 1 room or 2 rooms? I'm like, I don't care. We just need somewhere to sleep. Okay, we'll do that for you now. They did not do that for us now. And we were probably the last person to get a room. And I remember I checked my phone. I entered our hotel room at 10:30 p.m. I just had a shower and went to sleep because we had to get up at 3:30 a.m. We had to get up at 3:30 because we were getting picked up at 4 a.m. by a bus, and I was terrified that bus was not going to pick us up. They couldn't even get us to the right hotel. How are they going to, pick us up at the right time and get us to the airport? So that was crazy. So then 3:30 comes around. I woke up at 3 from anxiety of I didn't want to sleep through the alarm because I was so exhausted. I was scared. So I woke up at 3. Anyway, we got down there at like 10 to 4, got on the bus, and we got there. So then we're doing all the check-in. Not proper check-in, but like security and all of that. The flight was for 7 a.m, but because it's international, you have to get there early, which is fine. More waiting, more lines, more waiting. Anyway, we finally get to 7. Boarding was like 5:45 or 6 or something like that, which is pretty standard. So boarding time passes and people are pissed. People had appointments to go to. People had important things that they missed out on because of this flight being cancelled. So people are getting really annoyed and angry. And honestly, fair enough. I just had no will in me. By this point, I had nothing left in me. I'm just looking for a lip liner. So we didn't board until 7 o'clock and we were freaking out because when a plane is late, it affects all the other planes at Lagos, at the destination. And we're like, are we even going to be able to land? We're all freaking out. Anyway, it was a horrible plane. It was smelly and dirty. I didn't like it. And I was not having a good opinion of Kenyans at this point. I gotta say, the hotel staff, amazing. Even though they took forever to give us a room, they were all really nice and accommodating. My daughter was asleep on the steps and one of the staff members are like, have you got a room? I'm like, no, we're still waiting. They're giving all these young single men a room before us. I'm like, come on guys, like there has to be some kind of priority here. They couldn't find us a room because we had children. Like everyone, there were so many people with children on this flight. Why is it us who couldn't get a room? I was so frustrated because our children were literally asleep on the lobby floor. Anyway, this guy comes on and goes, no, okay, and then goes up to the reception and is like, what are you guys doing? I need to get these people a room. It's like, why is it so hard? Anyway, we got to Lagos, and the best thing about getting into Lagos was they saw we had children and we skipped the visa line to the front. Thank you. That was our saving grace for the whole trip, is because that was a long line. Anyway, so we got through there, and then we went to the baggage claim, and it took forever. We were like one of the last bags, and then we had 3 bags, and we're like, yay, because we were terrified. We're like, we're not going to get our luggage. We're not going to get it. Well, we did. We got 3 bags, and then the 4th one was missing. And it was just like, it just made everything so much longer now, because now we have to figure out how to get this luggage. And the whole process was just, honestly, everything just took forever, and everything was out of our control, and it was extremely frustrating. We had this guy's mobile number to contact because he said, it's not coming in the flight that's coming in tonight, so you'll have to call me tomorrow and we'll figure out when your flight comes in, your luggage comes in. Anyway, 3 days later we got it. It was very stressful. We got to our then Vinny's sister and friend picked us up, so that was good, and we got to the hotel. So once we got to the hotel, it was like, rest, let's just rest. But we're still stressed about the bag. But we've got the bag. Everything has eventually come together. We are here, and now we are checking out of the hotel, and we are going to stay and see the family. So no one knows we're coming other than his sister who met with us. So they know we're coming to visit, but they don't know when. So we're going to go surprise them now. We're going to get picked up by Vinny's friend, and we're going to go to their house and stay there, which is very exciting. So I'm going to be meeting all the family now, which is why I just want a little lick of makeup, just a little bit, which I think that's sufficient. Yeah, I think it's good. So basically for 3 days, I would say, we've kind of been in this hotel room because we had no phone. We've had Wi-Fi, but not phone to call. And I can't even get into that whole thing. They don't use the phones the same as we do here. And didn't have access to converting money. We needed to rely on a friend to do that, and he was busy. So we couldn't buy anything, so we had to only eat in the hotel. Anyway, yesterday we got out of the hotel, and we went and got ice cream, which was so cute. It was a bit of it was only 600 meters, but because the roads and the side paths are not in the greatest condition, it took us a while to walk there. But once we got there, we had some ice cream, which was really cute. Yeah, so we haven't done a lot yet, but honestly, we needed to rest. So this is why Vinny got this hotel room, so that we could just rest. And I'm so glad he did, because if we had no idea this was all going to happen. We were thinking just the flying alone with no issues is going to exhaust us. Well, little did we know we needed this more than we thought we did. So your girl's got her makeup. God. Oh, I appreciate my things so much. Far out. That was so intense, but it gave me a good video to tell you guys. My plan is, we're still going to do a vlog, but I wanted to do this specific story time because it's a story in itself, that's for sure. Anyway, so we're pretty much just waiting to be picked up. We're ready, we're packed, we've got to check out, and then we're going to go. I'm very excited to meet the family. Ivy is so excited to meet her female cousin. Her name is Amanda. We're going to get Ivy's braids done, like proper braids. She's going to have beautiful long braids. And I think our holiday starts now, so we're very excited. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If I don't reply to comments, you know why. I don't have proper access to the internet. or not regular access, I should say. So I'm uploading, I don't know when I'll put this up, whenever I can. I don't know what my future is. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.